So the first thing I did when I got my hands on the stick was to have a dribble around, and what I noticed straight away was how nice the bounce point was. The head of the stick felt really light and it was really easy to move the ball around quickly with it. What I also found was that the stick has a really nice balance between being really stiff and having just that small amount of give to aid you when you're controlling the ball. This made dribbling really nice. I was able to bounce the ball into the turf and control it easily and throw it out to my full reverse stick extension and bring it back in without any difficulty. Now, when I first picked up the stick and was looking at the new head shape, I thought that the new bulky head was going to cause some issues with controlling the ball. But what I actually found is that the extra material kind of helped cushioning when the ball's coming in hard. Now, as I've already talked about, this stick has a nice balance between being a very stiff stick and having just a little bit of give to help you with cushioning the ball. That being said, it is a high carbon stick. It is going to be on the stiffer end of the hockey stick spectrum, so if you've not got soft hands, the ball is going to bounce away from you. But as long as you've got soft hands, it should be relatively easy to control the ball and you shouldn't have any real issues. So I want to bring up the redesigned head. So the brains at the background at Adidas have been tinkering away with it and they've made some new changes. Now there are three main changes, two of which I'm going to cover in more detail later. The one I want to cover now is the redesigned toe. So you'll have seen pictures of it online, it comes to almost a point. Speaking with the people at Adidas, what they've told me is that during their research they found that the actual part of the stick that is in contact with the ball, you don't actually use the top edge of the toe. So all that's there for is just for the look of it really. Now what I found in testing is that the new head shape, I didn't feel any detrimental effects when dribbling on reverse, when doing Indian dribbles, when doing reverse 3D skills, it all felt exactly the same. One thing I would add though is that because of the reduced size of the head, it's now easier to get the ball into the hook when you're doing spins right to left or left to right. It's super easy to keep them under control and you can go much faster around. I can imagine that'll be of great benefit to top level players in their penalty shootouts when they're doing the shuttles and they're trying to go around the goalkeeper. So what Adidas have done this season is they've actually redesigned the head of the stick. You'll have seen pictures of it online. There's a bulge where the Adidas logo is on the back of the head. Now, the reason they've done this is that they've found during testing that this is the bit of the head of the stick that goes through the middle of the ball when hitting. So by reinforcing this with the extra material, you can actually hit harder than with previous versions of the DF24. Now, from my testing, I would say that it's definitely a more powerful stick to hit with and more consistent than with last season's DF24. I also found that in my opinion it's much easier to hit the ball flat. I think that's just because there's more of the head of the stick going through the middle of the ball than going through the bottom half of the ball. Now obviously this is still an extra low bow stick, so if your technique isn't right, you can lift the ball accidentally. That being said, with it being a low bow, when you get in the D and you want to smash the ball into the roof of the net, it's still super easy. So what Adidas have done in introducing the carbon plate system is they've put a big thick strip on the back of the stick that's very flat. Now because they have put this flat section on the back of the stick that is almost the width of the stick, it gives you a huge reverse edge for hitting on, and that makes it so easy to hit on reverse with this stick. You can hit flat and powerfully consistently. Coming to this stick, I've used very thin sticks before. The reverse edge has not been this sort of size, and because this reverse edge is so thick, it really took me a while to adapt and be able to lift the ball on reverse. Now once I got my head round the position I had to get in, how I had to hold the stick, where the ball needed to be, it was easy to then hit the ball into the air and start putting it into the roof of the net, but it did take me some time to adapt. Now, another key component of the redesigned head that I've already talked about is that they've shaved the edges of the head to make it easier to get under the ball. Now, coupling this with the extreme low bow profile that the DF24 has, it makes flicking the ball almost effortless. Whether that's flicking the ball high into the roof of the goal for a shot, or flicking a pass to a teammate 6 feet away over a defender's stick. It really is so easy to do. Now, if you're flicking at goal, you can generate a lot of extra power if you can get the ball to roll high enough up the shaft of the stick to go into the groove. Now, if you are going to flick it with the groove of the stick, you get more power from the whip that you get as the ball travels down through the groove. But what you also have to take into account is the extra time that the ball is going to be on the stick to generate that power when you're picking where you're going to release the ball. Now, if you do properly accommodate the extra time that the ball needs to have on the stick, you'll be able to fire the ball in at a huge pace. So another thing this stick is really good at is chucking aerials. Because they've shaved the head at the edges and made it slightly thinner, it's really easy to get under the ball and throw it 30 yards down the pitch. Now, I found straight away with this stick I could drop it within a metre or so of the other testers, and within a few minutes I was able to drop it onto the end of their stick. So this stick is designed for drag flicking. When Adidas started the DF24 line, that was what they were aiming to make, the best drag flicking stick they could, and that continues to be the driving factor with this range. So obviously they've got some features in there specifically to help you drag flick better. Whether it's the oval handle that gets your hand in the right position to give you a full range of motion when flicking, or the groove on the shaft. This stick is designed to help you drag flick. Now, when I was setting up this review and speaking to the guys at Adidas, they were telling me about some of their technical changes for this season. Now, one of them is that they've made the groove on the shaft slightly shallower compared to previous season's models. And when I first heard this, I was a little bit skeptical. I wasn't sure I'd be able to get the same sort of power as I did with the previous season's model. Now, when I tested these sticks, I could not feel any difference in the power output between the two models. So when I was testing them, what I found is I could not tell the difference in the power output between the two sticks. Now, while I didn't get out a speed gun, I couldn't tell the difference from feel. So in summary, I really love this stick. It is superb. I think it is the best stick that I've used currently.